Hey guys, so today I thought I'd talk about a movie that Studio Ghibli produced, because that's always a safe bet, right? Well, not this time. This is actually called The Tales of the Earthsea. Earthsea, I should pronounce that correctly. Anyway, this is based off the book of the same name. It takes place in this fantasy world. The book is one of the greatest fantasy stories of all time. You should definitely check out the book. The movie, though, is not. This is not directed by Mizu Muzaki, can't quite pronounce his name, but by his son. Now, why is this significant? Well, not only was the leadership changed up, there was a couple other aspects that were changed in Ghibli at this point in time. This might explain why this movie is kind of crappy in comparison to the rest of them. Let me say a few positive things before I get to that. The animation is still spot on. The music is evidently produced by somebody else, but it is still pretty good. And basically all the technicals are very good. It's what you'd expect from a Studio Ghibli movie or film. You know, the animation's good, everything like that. But it lacks something key. And what it is in most Studio Ghibli movies, what is incredibly, what makes them special in comparison to other movies is the imagination they put into virtually every shot of a movie. Every shot is innovative in some way. And the big problem in this movie is that they take a storyline where there's incredible opportunity to create a very interesting, a very complex, a very neat, cool world, and they kind of just fall flat. They don't really make it into a, they don't really get very far away from the concrete necessities to the plot. Now, that's usually good in a storyline, but in this movie, the storyline's pace, even though they're not getting all, you know, inventive and bullshit, even though they're not doing that, the pace of the movie is incredibly slow. Now, other Studio Ghibli movies have been slow. There's movies that are slow in general, but you can work through that if you've got meaning behind the actions. That leads into the next point. The actions that these characters are taking are not explained. Watch the first 5 minutes of the film and you'll catch what I mean. Nothing quite is explained to the point where you have an understanding. Nothing's really understood till like the last 5 minutes of the film. And because of that, you don't really know what you're watching. It's like, I mean, there's scenes in this movie where, like, I just about lost it. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And, you know, anime's, of course, a mindfuck in general. That's not my complaint, that they're fucking with your mind. My complaint is that it does not have a foundation enough for you to jump with it. You follow? There's no foundation of the movie to really jump with it. They don't spend enough time really diving into anything long enough to really get you to understand what's the importance of this, you know? And because of that, you don't really understand what you're doing. I think I've repeated that. Also, I think that the overall storyline has a couple major flaws. That there's a lot of little plot holes that exist. Now, part of this is that they're trying to combine the Earthsea novels, there's like 3 of them, I think, into one movie. And because of this, it's hard to do that, and it's definitely inaccurate. But in doing that, there's a lot of inconsistencies, things that they left out and stuff, that if you know the books, are huge plot holes that you really wish they would have made 3 movies or something, or gone into more detail on various parts in it. Other than that, I think that the other aspect of it is that well, how do I put it? There was definite discontent with this movie when it came out. And I think it's also one of the reasons why this is not widely known, the movie's not widely known in the United States, is because it is the letdown. This is like the black sheep of the Ghibli movie family, if you will. If you're going to collect Ghibli films, and you can pick one to avoid, this would probably be it, in my opinion. almost everything else Ghibli's done has been brilliant. And that's why this one's especially disappointing. It's because you're holding it to the, you know, if you're a fan of the Ghibli's, you know, the stuff they produce, which I am, the collapse of the storyline and everything in this film is just so disappointing, because it's like, what happens if his father was directing it? You know, it would have been, you know, a great film. That's the point. That's why it's incredibly frustrating. And the other thing is that the only reason his father didn't produce this in the first place is because he had like a temporary retirement. Of course, he later on made other movies that are, you know, more famous considerably. So this was kind of an unnecessary, they should have, if they would have waited like 2 more years, this would have worked itself out. But they didn't, and that's why we have this movie. Of course, the other aspect of it is that it disappointed the book. I think I've already mentioned that. So it failed on those 2 counts, because they took these 2 great things and they fucked it up. Now, for a first movie though, just to be clear, for Mizo Musaki's son's first movie, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his son's name. This is not a bad attempt. It's just, I wish he would have done it with another studio, or he would have done it with another storyline, because this is one that it's like you could put so much more into this storyline if you had a really good director, if you had somebody like his father. I wish he would have picked a crappier storyline in general to try out with, just try to begin your whole movie production life. Now, that's basically it. If you love this movie, you'll probably hate me, and you probably already commented below, but you can, I'll remind you that. And if you liked this review and you thought this movie was crap and disappointing, then comment below. Once again, I'm not really being fair here, because it's a Studio Ghibli film. If this was any other film, this would get a higher mark. But if I am going to rank it, 1 out of 5, 5 being the best, I would give this like 2.5. I mean, it's below average. Just because the movies I've watched, the other Ghibli films are so good. The storyline had so much potential. And I mean, you can rewatch this video, you can hear why. Anyway, that's it. Subscribe, comment, rate once again. Have a great day. Bye.